Welcome to another episode of Video Unplugged from Indian Wine Academy. Today we have among us a very important winemaker from Spain, one of the more and better known people, Torres, is the winery. And we have Miguel Torres Jr., who is currently the CEO of the company. And it's glad to have him with us, especially because he's in Delhi for a few hours, and he agreed to talk to us regarding Torres. Miguel, welcome very much. And
thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, last time I met you, it was in Chile. I remember we met over lunch.
It was in Chile, and there were no earthquakes.
No earthquake.
It was calm that day.
Yes, it was a few months after the earthquake, I remember. Yes, and of course before that I met you many times in Spain. So what has happened since then with your career in the company, vis-a-vis your role in the company?
Yeah, well, I was in Chile from 2009 to 2012, and then my father called me and said, why don't you come back to Spain, because there's a lot of work here. So I came back to Spain and I took the role of CEO. So I manage the company and its different brands, the investments that we do. And my father is still the president, so he's in the board.
He's about 74 years old now, right?
He's 73 years old. Okay. Yes, he's going to be 74 this year. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
He's still in very good shape.
Oh, yeah.
He runs every day, or he goes with bicycle, and he's still very involved with the winery.
He still controls your life and Mariah's life, or no? Okay.
Well, we try to find agreements there.
Okay.
Family matters. We're going to be there.
No, I know, because he told me many years ago, when you were in Chile, that he was working with the New York session, whatever has happened. So what now exactly is happening in terms of that succession? Who's going to be looking after what?
Well, I'm the CEO now. My sister now is taking care of very specific projects. For example, the Jalleon winery. She's also the responsible of the wines for the Priorato. She's making the Cava project. We're going to make a sparkling wine in Spain soon. And she's also recently appointed the head of research and development. Okay. So, and again, my father is still there, very involved, and my aunt Marimar, she's also in California, very involved. And my uncle Juan Maria, he still helps us on PR and on representation very much.
Okay. So what is the turnover of the company now? How many million euros?
Now it's going to be around 240 million euros.
240 million.
2005 was.
Oh, okay.
15, sorry.
Yeah, but last I know there's about 200 million. So how much is your expansion in terms of percentage?
Well, the last year we grew by 5% approximately.
Okay, so that's very good. So when we talk about Spain, I think the flagship winery of Spain is Torres. And what is your flagship wine?
Well, probably the wine that I like the most is Plana. This is this Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay,
this one here.
Okay, yeah,
we started the production on 1970.
Right.
And it's a wine that is very special for us because it's a wine that in 1979 won all the French wines on a blind tasting in Paris. It was Gold Medal Wine Olympics.
Okay.
So it was the first time that the Spanish wine got this award, and for us it really showed to us which was the direction, that we should really make higher quality wines, more premium wines. So it sent like a new stage for our company thanks to this wine, the Plana.
This is 100% Cabernet, right?
It's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
It comes from a single vineyard in the heart of the Penedès wine region, very close to Barcelona.
Okay.
And it's 29 hectares.
When I come out of the winery, I've been to that winery. In fact, I've been to all your in Chile, US, and Priorat also. But I remember when I came out of the winery, there was some vineyard that says Plana.
Yes.
That's part of Plana?
Yes. This is it has a beautiful house in the middle, and all around is these 29 hectares of very deep soils, very deep, and the soils are they have clay, they have some rocks. In some places they have a bit more of sand. But the characteristic is that the roots can go very deep. So especially now that the vines are quite old, the production is very stable. Even if it's a warm vintage or a cold vintage, still we can have a very high quality grapes.
Now, talking about that competition, do you remember which were the other wines which competed against?
Of course, there was Old Brion, there was Lafite Rochelle. There are wines that for us they are great wines. They are fantastic wines. And well, you know, for us it was really a very special day again.
Okay, that's great, wonderful.
Remember.
Yeah, I think in India we have the wine, and I think the top echelon of wine drinkers, they love to drink your wine. I love it. It's very nice wine. It competes with even the best of California. You know, I think that's a good thing about this wine. Talking about the competition, this is the 40th year now. You have some sort of celebration, and of course, I hope you'll do that with the delWine Club celebration. But my question is, why don't you have something like that again this year in Paris? Organize something like this again?
Yeah, we could, you know. Actually, there's not any longer this competition, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Miguel, the thing is, it's not a question of competition. It's a question of where you feel you stand against them and to have the guts to stand against them, which is important, you know. You know this gentleman in Chile, Erasmus.
Yes.
He has that Berlin tasting every once in a while in different countries. So I think you should have that.
We are very open to any kind of competition, and I know
that's great.
Eduardo very well.
Eduardo, yeah, he's a great guy.
Makes
Yes.
fantastic wines on that side.
Yes,
I think that, you know, in general, all the Spanish wines have really raising quality a lot. You know, it used to be a time where there was only like French or Italian wines, especially on the 60s and the 70s. No? But I think that during the past years, Spain has really made a great jump, and Spanish wines have achieved a very nice quality.
See, you have, of course, always been a penniless company initially, many
Yes.
generations. And then you started moving out within Spain. You went to Priorat, you went to Monsanto also.
Yeah, well, we have been we are in the Priorato, then we went to the Ribera del Duero, Rioja. This past year we bought the wine in Rueda, which is a beautiful place. They have this variety Verdejo. It's a white variety that brings very nice acidity, very aromatic wines.
Yeah, I love that wine. Yeah.
We make some wines from Rías Baixas. So we really, in the past years, we're really happy.
You are expanding within Spain, so you can give a total spectrum.
We are very much still in love with Spain, you know. There are always places, terroirs that you can identify, and you can make great wine there.
You know, going back to 1979, I just realized that there's such a coincidence with the Master Plana tasting and you're going into Chile. So that is the year you went, and I remember reading about it, you know, and I was studying many decades ago about Chilean wines and how they came up. And they are full of gratitude. And a lot of respect for Torres. And in the books you read wherever, they always say that Torres brought the new technology and everything, and that's where the quality started going up. So first of all, how did that happen? What exactly happened?
Well, I think that there were two reasons why we decided to go to Chile. The first one, because my father saw that really it was a paradise for viticulture. You know, the changes in temperature between night and day, the lack of diseases. There are almost no diseases in the vineyard in Chile. Also, the seasons are so well marked. So in the winter time it really rains and it's cold, but in the summertime it's dry and it's warm. But also there was a second reason, is that we suffered a lot during the civil war in Spain. We almost lost the winery. My grandfather suffered a lot, and he wanted to have another winery somewhere else in the world, just in case something happened. He could go to Chile.
Okay, I remember he told me that he was studying in Bordeaux, somewhere in France.
Well, he was trying to sell the Spanish wines around the world.
Okay.
Because, especially during the Second World War, because France was invaded by the Germans, there was a really shortage of wine. So it was, at least he started to show the Spanish wines that on those times were totally unknown. Yeah.
And how about the climate change, and what has Torres been doing proactively on that?
Well, probably the climate change is the biggest challenge that winemakers have in the future. You have to think that on the past 20, 30 years, the temperature has already increased by 1 degree, and it is expected to increase by 4 degrees when we reach 2100. And that means that we'll have to change the things, the way that we do things. For example, we have to change some varietal grapes, we'll have to put vineyards in higher altitudes. Maybe even the maps of the appellation will have to change, because the wines that we'll produce will be different than the ones that we produce years now. So as a company, we believe that because we live thanks to nature, thanks to the vineyards, we should lead on a certain way the reduction of the CO2, of the global warming. So we have decided that from 2008 to 2020, we want to reduce by 30% our carbon footprint. We already have achieved to reduce by 10%, and we expect the next years to reduce more on that side. And well, again, we are investigating a lot. For example, one of the lines of investigation have been to look for the ancient Catalan varieties. And we have discovered 36 ancient Catalan varieties, and of those there are particularly 2 varieties that are very resistant to the heat and very resistant to the lack of water. So maybe...
Where are you growing them?
We have planted in different places. So far it's an experimental variety, but we see that in the future it will really take a role in the Spanish viticulture, especially the Catalan viticulture.
And so going back to Chile a little bit, I remember there was a problem where Carmenere is their flagship grape, and I've always maintained that they should work on Carmenere as the internationally known grape in Chile. So they said there was a problem. I mean, they had a problem with the greening of the grape. Did you have the same problem in Chile?
I think that Carmenere is one of the most difficult varieties to grow. I think that when you do it properly, it can make outstanding wines. But as you know, it's one of the varieties that ripes the latest. It ripes after Cabernet Sauvignon. So if you pick the grapes too early, then it gets this pyracinic notes and it's very green. It's not so appealing maybe. And when you ripe it, when you harvest it, that is too ripe, then it loses all the characteristics of the Carmenere, and it becomes kind of more jammy, more marmalade, but it's overripe, so it's not so nice. It's very important to pick the right time, so you can get these nice spices, this touch of mandarin, you know? So it's very challenging, but when you do it, it can be fantastic wine.
How about Malbec? Because I was doing some research for Malbec Day here in Delhi, and I found out that the gentleman who was in exile from France, he took a lot of cuttings and knowledge. He first went to Chile, and he was there for 7-8 years, and then the president of Argentina, who was also in exile from Argentina, and he met him over there, and when he became the president in 1853, he brought him from Chile. So, I mean, I really think sometimes that maybe if he had been there, the thing might have been different, you know. Is Malbec is still grown though in
Yes, there are fantastic Malbecs in Chile. Actually, they call it more name called Côte.
Côte, yeah.
Côte is a
Call
variety.
it Côte, yeah,
Exactly.
in south of France.
And it's very high quality, but yeah, you're right that the Argentinians did an amazing job to make the promotion of this variety. So yeah.
And how is your operation in China doing? It's a joint venture.
China is going well. Maybe I would say that on the year 2013 we went a bit down because all the wine market went down. But the last year we already had a growth, and this year is growing again. I think that the market has changed definitely.
Yeah.
I think that there's a new generation of Chinese consumer, a bit younger. They want to try different things. So it's not only European wine. You can try wines from Chile, wines from Argentina, from South Africa.
Yeah.
So
Experimental.
yeah, they're a bit more experimental. They look always for a nice ratio price value on that side. So I think that the market is changing, but it's growing again. So this is a nice thing. China has a great potential.
Okay. We're talking of potential. What do you think of the Indian market? You've been here for many years.
Well, Indian market, I think that the right approach for the Indian market is a long-term market. Undoubtedly, it has a very nice potential, but we all know some of the difficulties that the market has. You know, it's a market that, in terms of we'll say bureaucracy, maybe, or customs, or regulations that it has, it's not easy for the importers on that side and for the wine producers. I also think that it has started a switch in terms of consumption. We know that every market that traditionally has drink a lot of beer and spirits, at a certain point they start to drink wine. This has happened in the United States, where today now is the number one wine hub in the world. It has happened in the United Kingdom too. It happened in Germany. It's happening here. Like it's a young consumer switching from beer and spirits to wine. Wine is more sophisticated. It's more cultural drink on a certain way. It's very nice for parties. So I think that there will be better consumption of wine and better wines consumed here in India.
And now I believe that you are getting more into the Indian wine, domestic wine sector also. You started distribution for vintage wines in Mumbai and Nashik. And my feeling is, my prediction is that you would want to get into production side of it, slowly or eventually. So what, you want to share something on that?
Well, you know, I'm sure that it will be a great project, and we are not closing any door. I think that we'll have our doors very open. What is true is that now also we are still growing very much in Spain. We have all these different projects that we want to continue in the Rioja and the Ribera del Duero. We just bought 14 hectares of very premium soil in the Ribera del Duero, a very premium terroir, and we want to make an icon wine there. So the family, it's only one family. We cannot be everywhere.
And in your family, spouses are not allowed to join business.
Well, you know, of course they are always in a certain way involved.
Of course,
but they are not
they can't be
actively
partners actually. That's part of the plan. That he told me about it. You know, so
well, you know, I think that that family companies are always a bit tricky on a certain way. Especially the succession is a very dangerous moment.
Of course.
Many family companies they disappear when the succession. No?
Absolutely.
So we have certain rules, but I have to say that both my mother and also my wife now, they are supporting the company so much, you know, because we have so much work.
Well, it's a part of the family anyway.
It's part of the family, and we really have to thank them a lot.
Yeah. And how many kids do you have? You have 2 kids now, right?
I have 3 now.
3 now. Oh, okay, all right. So,
but they are still very young.
Still very young. Yeah.
But maybe in the future one of them will get an interest on wine, and this is our main objective. Our main objective is always how to pass the company to the next generation. We like.
And Mariah's kids, how old are they?
They are now 14 and 15, more or less. And so they are at this age where they are all with phones and the video games and all these kind of things.
That's a part of growing up anyway.
But I hope that one of them at least will get interested in wine.
And Marimar, she has the daughter, I met her.
Christina. Yes.
Christina. She is into the wine business.
She works in an importing company in United Kingdom called Fels. She did a very good job, and now she's back in the United States to complete her studies. And well, she has definitely shown a very pure and genuine interest for wine. So Marimar seems to be very happy that maybe she will continue, but like I said.
Okay. And how's my friend, Senior Miguel? I'm very fond of him because we meet very often, and in fact, I have a lot of respect for him. What is he doing apart from remote controlling you guys? I know.
He's always with the phone asking what we're doing, but no.
Yeah, I know.
No, you know, he's enjoying, I think, because he's still working very hard, but also he's taking some time to be more with my mother, and he travels all around the world. Even when he's on holiday, he goes to restaurants and asks if they have Torres wine, talks with sommeliers. So he's always on duty.
Well, I'm sure you guys are like doing like that too, wherever you go. So
we do.
It's in your blood then, you know, that's what it is, yeah.
We do that.
Next year, I was in Champagne actually a couple of weeks ago, and then I went to London for presenting at IWC. Now at Champagne, there was the International Wine Tourism Conference, and at that point, they announced next year for this venue to be in Barcelona. And gentleman called Anthony Swift, he's an Englishman, and who lives in Barcelona for the last 20 years, and so he loves Spain. And I joke about it, he speaks better Spanish than English probably. So he's doing it over there, and I have a feeling that Torres will be involved. You have to be involved, you're number one in that whole area.
Yeah.
So any idea what your plans are?
We'll be involved, we'll have a stand there. Tourism is becoming more and more important in Barcelona. We have more than 10 million people visiting Barcelona every year. and the wine tourism is one of the focus there. No?
How many people come to your winery every year?
Every year, more or less 125,000 people from all over the world. There's some people from India too.
Yeah, I know. I've sent some people, my friends, and I've been there. I think one of the best places to visit. The only thing which I kind of realized was that you don't have a place to stay within the winery like in Italy and the tourism is there.
Yeah. This is one of the things that we should think in the future.
Yeah.
Still, we now we have a restaurant. You can visit the winery and bed.
Oh, the restaurant, the farmhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they're very nice hotels.
Exactly.
And there are very nice hotels around there, so we can book a hotel for you, so no problem. But the winery is very close to Barcelona, so all your friends or people that may see this video, if they go to Barcelona, they have to come to the winery.
I know, yeah. So hopefully we will be seeing you there next year.
I hope so.
It's a pleasure meeting you again.
Thank you, it's very good to see you.
All the very best to you, and let's see you do more and more better in India. So that'll be great.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Salud.